Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. It's and welcome to Aye Right. This is a light-hearted look at politics in general and Scottish politics in particular. Over the next half hour or so, we'll take a wee look at what's happening currently and anything else that's caught our eye. The show's hosted by myself, Graham Dallas, and the one and only Mr. Sean Moore.
How you doing, Graham? And hello, everybody at home tuning in. Thanks for having us back again, Kevin and the crew at Independence Live. It's going to be my quickest half hour of the week. It really is. Don't know about you guys.
Right, okay then, Sean. Listen, and guys, if you can share it out, I keep getting told to say that. If you can share it out, get a few more people watching it, that'd be great. But we're going to take a look at our first clip now. I'll let the clip explain itself.
The Liberal Democrats. The Liberal Democrats. The Liberal Democrats. You might...
We like to organise our visits to send a message in pictorial terms, exactly what we're asking for.
Joe, my question for you. It's really great that your party promotes women's rights. So please, can you tell me what a woman is?
Well, I know I'm a woman.
It looks like that your predecessor has covered up abuse, Mr. Capel.
No comment.
That abuse, according to the victims, was carried out by Cyril Smith.
We need honesty in politics today. Straight talking. A bit more of a Christian-like attitude and less of the slanging.
So you understood that he'd actually committed these offences from what he said to you?
I assumed that.
Right. Wasn't that all the more reason to take matters further and hold some form of inquiry?
No.
8 years after this sickening disclosure, and Lord Steele recommended Cyril Smith for a knighthood.
So those are the Liberal Democrats that we know. But what does the Liberal Democrat Party actually stand for? I'm going to ask a friend. Alexa, what do the Liberal Democrats stand for?
Here's something I found on Wiktionary. Liberal Democrats is a proper noun meaning a centre-left political party.
Alright. Alexa, what are the Liberal Democrats' policies?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, so there we have it. That's the Liberal Democrats putting their message across, as Willie said, in pictorial form. So what was that message? So what was that message then, Sean?
I remember when I was growing up, folk used to call the Lib Dems or the Liberals or the SDP Tories with consciences, but that's kind of bombed out now, isn't it?
A wee bit, aye. Well, if you look at Cyril Smith, I suppose, aye. If you take Cyril Smith as an example, you're probably right there, aye.
You did say pictorial form there, didn't you?
I did, aye. Well, that's I'm taking Willie's joke away from there.
Oh, you're a swine, so you are.
So, aye, this is the unanswered question that has dogged politics for generations. What is a Liberal Democrat? And there's no point in asking Jo Swinson, she struggles with the question, what is a woman? Though, to be fair, I struggle with that one too. But I was doing a wee bit of research on the subject, Sean, and I found a few things. According to John Locke, commonly known as the father of liberalism. There you go. Liberalism is where the government would carry out the expressed will of the electorate. So how does our Willie fare against the core principles of liberals, that they will carry out the expressed will of the electorate? Where are you in that, Sean?
That sounds a very, very noble and admirable ethos, that, doesn't it? So John Locke, this is about, what, 200, 150 years ago. So we need to apply that to today's situations and today's conditions. So, for example, just pluck a wee hypothesis out the air. If maybe the will of the people was to have like a referendum or something like that, an independence referendum, then the Liberal view would, yep, we'll support you.
Yeah, have a referendum, absolutely. That's what the people say, and whatever you decide, we're 100% behind you.
Glad to hear it, Willie.
I think he's fallen a wee bit short on that one, though. I had another wee definition for you, Sean. This is how the Oxford Dictionary describes a liberal. Politically, it means a person who believes the government should be active in supporting social and political change. Now, that sounds like you should be supporting a referendum, as you say. So,
aye, damn the status quo. Aye. So, again, I quite liked that. So I had a wee look at the Lib Dem site to see what they were all about these days. Because to be honest with you, I think there was a wee bit of the Groucho Marx before, wasn't there? Where I'm like, these are my principles. If you don't like them, I've got some more. So I looked up their principles, and they say that the failures of the UK must be addressed.
Right, yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah. Centralisation hoards power in Whitehall and Westminster, they say. Aye, singing from my hymn sheet.
Yeah.
They decided that the Westminster veto needs curtailed, and they also felt that Scotland should have a bigger say.
Oh, wait a minute. Well,
Sean. So I'm like, I'm going to vote for these guys. And they decided the Westminster voting system and the House of Lords should have a constitution. And the pandemic, right up to date, the pandemic saw the benefits of devolution. I'm like, yeah, man, where do I sign up? The answer to all that was fair.
I've got to say, Sean, I need to apologise to the viewers here. I think you're talking about the SNP there, mate.
So did I. Identical, man, singing for the same hymn sheet. But the SNP want all that separatism and divisiveness. These guys just want federalism. Federalism will sort it all out, apparently.
But we got that. We got that in 2014. That's what they gave us.
So we did. It's on the front page of the record, wasn't it?
Aye. We've already got that. So okay. So
we were to lead. We were to lead the partnership, and lead. Don't leave. So we've got all that then.
Well, apparently, I mean, surely they wouldn't have let us down in that one. I had a wee look into Willie himself to see, a wee bit about the man. And I've got to say, I didn't find a lot. He likes to keep fit by running. He basically went to school, went to college, and then went to work for the Liberal Democrats. Sounds like a Liberal Democrat to me, totally nondescript. But what's your thoughts on the boy, our Willie himself, Sean?
I think maybe just as well. I think they needed somebody pretty safe, shall we say, after some of those guys that you showed for the old days. They needed somebody safe. I mean, not even looking past the Vince Cable thing, apologising for your man Freud, but Vince Cable, even he looked pervy. That hat was a pervy hat that Vince Cable was wearing. That's like the only other person I've seen wearing a hat like that is George Galloway. So I wouldn't trust Vince Cable as far as I could throw him, basically.
Well, I'm not going to get into the hat debate for obvious reasons, Sean. I'm just going to leave it at that.
But Graham, there's hats and there's hats. There's a difference.
That's what people say to me about my hat. There's hats and there's hat. What are you wearing that for? But anyway, so this basically what we've got here is Willie is not a very liberal, because no matter what the majority of Scots want, or if the majority of Scots want independence, he and his Scottish Liberal Democrat Party is going to oppose it. So as we've seen, liberalism is about doing what the electorate want. Well, they don't seem to be doing that. So
no walking the walk there, or talking the talk, no walking the walk.
I think that's
Although one thing I did like out their manifesto, and again it boiled the question down to what you were asking tonight, what is a Liberal Democrat? Which I actually misread. I thought it was why are the Liberal Democrats.
Right, okay.
But apparently what they stand for is a fair, free and open society.
Yeah.
And they've certainly backed that up, because there was their man Cyril Smith, who was free and open. He was openly paedophile and stayed free. So, aye.
Aye, well, there you go. So then
what?
We should talk a wee bit about Jo. We shouldn't really ignore her, you know, because...
mind Jo.
Aye, she did lead the Liberals into the 2019 general election, stating that she could win an overall majority and be the next Prime Minister. But she lost her own seat in that election. Bless her. Well, bless her. But she did say if she won the election, she would overturn the Brexit result and cancel Article 50. Well, there goes her Liberal credentials there. Poof, out the window there. You know,
that was the will of the people, wasn't
it? But anyway, I had a wee look through, and you know, she was an MP for quite a few years, so I was having a wee bit a look at, you know, the notable campaigns that she got behind. Have you any idea what she fought hard for, Sean, when she was an MP?
Oh, apart from world peace and stuff like that. I remember she'd
bigger issues than that.
She was on a hobby horse about prisons. She didn't believe that prisons should be named after the town they were in. I don't know if it was that it gave the town a bad name or something like that. Or it was a wee bit of...
She campaigned quite heavily on not getting new prisons built, but if they were to be built, they should be done cheaply, and they should
don't need
not...
prisons at all. A free and open society. Let everybody free like Dixon.
Cyril's law. She called it Cyril's law. No, she didn't.
Cyril's law, aye. So what about, I don't know, I think if the guys at home, if they're blathering among themselves or whatever, if you want to give some suggestions on what they should call any new prisons that are built.
If you can't call it after the... I mean, you could have the Cyril Smith paedophile correction unit, something like that, I suppose. Sorry. Anybody get any? Well, we need to wait and see, actually. We're a wee bit ahead of everybody. But if you could give some suggestions for the Liberals of what you would call prisons, if you can't call them after the tune, you know. Although I never knew there was a tune called Berlin, but anyway, maybe there is. Aye, so here's a couple. The Prince Andrew Correction Unit for young girls, how would that go down?
With corporal punishment, I would imagine. Right.
Sir Jimmy Savile Penitentiary, yeah, it's all going good. She was also big in another big campaign, and it's no wonder she was such a high profile Liberal. Her other campaign was she successfully fought to get the packaging reduced on Easter eggs. Now I can see how the nation got behind her in that one. No, but anyway.
It's a biggie. It really is, man. It's a biggie, innit?
We've all had sleepless nights.
We're not able to canvass for this campaign, for this election, but I know the last few elections, at any time I was in the doorstep with people, that was like Brexit, independence, NHS, fucking never mind that. I couldn't open my multi-pack of Twix this morning, man. See, that's plastic they're putting in chocolate these days.
Ah, dear, aye. Mental. Aye, so anyway.
It's a bundle, that's you want it, man.
So we have to answer the question, because we did say that we were coming on to answer this question tonight, Sean. What is a modern day Liberal Democrat? Have you got an answer to that one?
It's not enough. We're not just allowed to rant. We've got to come up with solutions, man.
Well, we're on the spot. We did say we would answer this question, you know, for everybody.
I think going back to your pictorial clip earlier on, where the two pigs basically, incidentally, the top pig was called Cameron and the one underneath was called Clegg. But I think that's all we need. It was deliberate. We really wasn't embarrassed. It was his actual setup, because the bottom pig was the Lib Dems manifesto, and the top pig was whoever's in power. It's like
what the Tories did to their manifesto.
They'll say what you want.
Basically, they'll say what you want, or they'll do whatever, they'll be whatever they want to be, or say whatever you want them to say. Okay, dokie, I think we'll leave the Liberals there. I hope we've answered that one for you. Anybody come up with any prisons yet? Call prisons.
Tracy Miller isn't holding back.
I think Pete Scarlett was it said, call them after Tory MPs. Aye, well.
Tracy Miller, that one that you've named, I think it actually already does exist. It's just they call it the House of Lords just now, but we can rename it.
We'll do that for you, Tracy. The Dolores Prison for hardcore Tories. Right, have we got any more? What's a modern day Scottish green? That's a park, is it no? Right, I will maybe do the Greens in a future show, and we'll sort that out for you, because we now have sorted out the Liberal Democrats. Have we got any more? Right. Okay, well, we'll have a wee look while we pull up the next clip, I think, again, we'll let the clip talk for itself.
Just on that subject, Tommy Greenan, thanks for joining us, Tommy. Why not come on next week and you can have a wee blather to us if you're not doing anything next Thursday. Come on and join us, Right,
am I ready for the next clip, Sean?
Aye, he's annoying.
Looking forward to meeting you, Tommy. Right, here we go.
Sorry, you might have to get off because Boris is coming. I realise that,
We can take back control of £350 million a week and spend on our priorities here in this country, including on the National Health Service.
And I think the whole country is massively grateful to healthcare workers and social care workers for what they have done.
Taking account of the pay review body's advice, we will provide a pay rise to over 1 million nurses, doctors and others working in the NHS.
And even the Prime Minister and his fiancée clapping for the NHS. A clap that has turned into what one health union has now described as a slap in the face. There was fury today as the government submitted a proposal for a 1% pay rise to NHS staff, including nurses. Was, they said, pitiful and bitterly disappointing.
Okie dokie, this is, that was a wee clip on, it's got to be the political piss take of the year. Richie Sunak stands up in Parliament to deliver his budget statement, and one of the main headlines in that speech was the NHS are to get a pay rise. Everybody's cheering. He doesn't bother to give details on the pay rise about how much it's going to be or anything like that. I mean, as if nobody's going to notice that it's 1%, it's basically £3 a week. Sean, what did you think?
I think maybe folk weren't supposed to notice because they had like, it's okay, we've got Megan and what's his name? Our man. We've got Megan and Hewitt in the news this week. They'll notice. They're all excited about Megan and Hewitt, Harry. So I don't think we were supposed to notice. It was supposed to get swept under the carpet there. But hey ho.
I just thought, I could just imagine, I mean, I think they were definitely taking it back. They thought, right, nobody's getting a pay rise. That's going to be dead boring. Let's give the NHS 1%, no tell them. And then when they find out, make sure we've got some wee video cameras to see their reaction. Because you can see them all in the wards and that, I mean, they've been working hard for a year. And I know I'm making fun of it and it's a very serious matter, but you can imagine them all in those wards giving it high fives. Yes, the government's recognised the hard work that we have done, and they've given us a pay rise.
They've kept the one promise that they kept. They've kept us one promise. They gave us a rise, man. He said he would be deeding a ditch. He's not deeding a ditch. They said we'd get 350 million a week. We're not getting that, but he's kept that one promise.
And then half an hour later, doof, word goes round. It's £3.50 a week. Yeah, there you go. A wee bum, you did well this year. Go and get yourself a pint. Or if you're going to be like that, put it towards a pint then. But, man. Aye, so...
Again, it's something that comes up, it crops up regularly every year. But this year, of all years, when money was not an issue last year, when it came to ordering files from your landlord or your local pub, when it came to throwing money at Dido Harding to, do whatever you need to do, Dido. Money was not an issue. Let's just get through this together. It's an emergency. All of a sudden, money's an issue again, man.
And then I saw somebody questioning the Labour Party on it, and they said, should they be getting more? And they said, aye. And what was the question they asked the Labour Party? How are you going to pay for that? Aye. And how is Labour going to pay for that? The Conservatives have just spent 350 billion, and nobody's once said, how are you going to pay for that? Boris is still going to, on top of this 350 million.
And and again, that was Keir Starmer's chance to say, okay, we don't have a magic money tree. I'll admit we don't have a magic money tree, but we also don't give £20 billion a time to our pals.
Aye. Well, that's a classic. On top of this, he's still going to build this tunnel under, between Scotland and Northern Ireland. And I heard last week that he's going to put a roundabout in the middle of it, and another tunnel going off to Manchester. You couldn't make it up.
Aye, the Isle of Man interchange.
He's got that, and then he's got Trident at 200 billion. I mean, do you know? And that
must be how the Isle of Man's get that badge, with the 3 legs, kind of thing. That must be. Will be a wee Polish underneath the sea giving it.
Aye. That's a fair point, actually. Maybe he could get a fourth tunnel off that off the tunnel going up the Isle of Man. That'd be quite good. They could have
got the fourth tunnel. They've got the fourth bridge, the fourth rail bridge.
Aye, but and then the other thing was, Jeremy Corbyn, he wanted to spend 80 billion and all that. This is going back to old Labour. 80 billion will bankrupt the country. And again, they kept asking, where are you going to get the money from? But they go and spend 4 times that. Not once have I heard them saying, how are you going to pay for this? They just they keep producing
no questions asked.
Aye.
And again, the thing is, it's not because the Tories challenge Labour on whether the money's coming from. Well, they do, but that's not what gets the news. It gets the attention because the media, the right-wing media, challenge Labour on it left, right and centre. That's the voice they can.
You'd have thought somebody would have said to him, how are you going to pay? Why don't you use that 350 million on the side of your bus to give them a decent wage rise? But,
They forgot about that.
Let's not talk
about that. That was so 5 years ago, man. But again, maybe that's their get-out clause, because it was the number was 350 million, wasn't it? You got 350, 350, and it equates that the nurses are getting a pay rise £3.50 an hour. Maybe so I think that's maybe their wee get-out clause there. That's their wee loophole.
Do you know something?
You can blame whatever. It was the guy that made the sign. It was that bloody coach painter. Some left-wing unionised bloody painter that he missed a decimal point or 6.
But I don't know if you noticed as well, under the radar while that was happening, they keep saying they're no selling off the NHS. But for day one, I think Labour introduced the NHS in something like 1948. And everything was free for everybody. Everything was free in the NHS. And the Tories get in 3 years later, and one of the first things they did was they stuck on dental charges. Some of your dental treatment was charged for. And they've been picking away ever since. And everybody just go like, no, the National Health Service is safe in our hands. And people just buy it. But I noticed, I don't know if you saw that last week, that basically what's happened is your doctor's practice is now a business, and he manages his own funds. So some of these doctors, entrepreneur types down in London, finished up with 36 surgeries across London, serving 370,000 people. Now, they got that business for nothing, right? I mean, just basically run it as a business. And what they've gone and done now is they've just gone and sold it off to an American insurance company. So we've now got, who is it? I've got the details. AT Medics, America's biggest healthcare insurance company, is now operating 49 GP surgeries across London, providing services to around 370,000 people. Before it was taken over by them, it was 6 GPs that have basically sold off 36 GP surgeries. It cost them nothing and made a fortune, you know, and we've just sat back and let that happen. And that's going to just keep happening and happening and happening. And
nobody should say, oh, who'd have thunk? Because we've seen it happen with everything else that they've privatised. It's been happening for odd years. If people now say, how come it's a Russian billionaire or an Indian or a Chinese billionaire that owns all the steel, that owns all the utilities companies, that owns the water, that owns the transport? Because you've done exactly the same then. Except the people loved it because nobody likes their electricity board, nobody liked the SSEB or the gas board because they just wanted money off you. So when the government went, right, we're going to sell them off and you can have shares and you'll get a wee windfall, well said. People are like, oh, smashing it. I bought my council house, now I can get a wee conservatory on it. It was fine. But the long-term plan was these shares would all eventually amalgamate, they'd all eventually get gathered up by some big oligarch. And now there is no infrastructure, there's no industries. We've seen it happen before. It's just people maybe didn't have the sympathy before.
They think
you're not emotionally attached to steelworks or to trains or something. But the NHS, don't you dare touch that NHS. Okay, we won't touch it.
All right, hold on.
Just a wee bit. And bump over the course of 40 years, they've done it.
Aye, sorry, I never get it right there, but I've got it right. Aye, sorry, I was just looking at that actually, you know, but it's kind of weird just what you were saying there, because what basically happens is Labour get into power and they go, right, we're getting hooked by those railways, we're going to nationalise that railways, we're going to take it in and we're going to build it up and we're going to make it, the people are going to buy that and the people are going to run that, and they get it all in, and then the Tories get into power and go, right boys, we'll sell this off cheap. Right, you buy it and then punt it off and you'll make a bit of money on it. They did it with the railways, they did it with British Steel, they did it with British Telecom, British Coal they just destroyed. British Gas, as you say. Do you know what I mean? They just keep doing it, and the people just keep letting them do it. And basically England just keep voting them into power, don't they? I mean, they just
and that is a big thing, and that's why I think the bottle to do with the NHS now, because these guys have got away with so much, and they've lied through their teeth. They've been overtly racist. They've done everything. They've been caught lying. They've been caught giving backhanders to their mates, and still they get voted in. And they know, they're looking at the Labour thing and knowing that there is no alternative in England for another couple of general elections at least. So there's nobody going to call us on it. The press aren't going to call us on it. Labour are in no position to stop us doing it. So they've become a lot braver and they're not even pretending anymore now.
No.
And that's the kind of worry. They don't even feel they've got to pretend, man.
They don't even hide it. I mean, as I say, back to the nurses, you know, I could just see them sitting around the cabinet room thinking, oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? We don't give them their pay rise, we give them 1%, we just don't tell them it's 1%. You know, I mean, like that, like they're only peasants. I mean, it's $3.50 a week. They'll be jumping all over that, you know. They live in a different planet, man.
And again, the lower the morale goes in the NHS, the less people that want to work in that job, the more they'll depend on agency workers. And if they depend on agency workers, then that's no unionised, so it's workers with less strength. And also, it costs them a fortune for agency workers. So it means next budget they can go, oh, what he's been doing? Oh, no, here, we need to take over. We need to put you out to tender. A beautiful vicious circle that they're just going to keep chipping away at, man. But one little thing I think nice that again, a wee exception in Scotland, our guys have had their 1%, but Scottish government, Scottish NHS are going to review the pay again in the summer. And the Welsh NHS, Labour rights one and all, fair enough. They've said that they're not going to stick to the 1% ceiling. So yet again, while we're all doing this down south, the Tories are running riot. There's people in Scotland and Wales saying, look, there's another way here. Let's make our decisions.
Aye, unfortunately, we're going to have to find the money. Right, okay, it's about time to go. I'll just see if MD's had anything funny to say to us. Can you find it?
Because we've done nothing but rant.
Sorry, we've been ranting on. Extra pint every 3 months.
Nurses who can earn more. Aye, fair point, man.
Right, guys, so anyway, I've got, as I say, my heart goes out to the nurses and everybody in the NHS and everybody working in the public sector because, you know, we had austerity for 10 years. They used the crash in 2009 for that. They're going to use this pandemic as an excuse for for squeezing wages for the next 10 years. But on a cheerier note, here's a wee song to see us out and a wee reminder for the nurses. That's a wee song called Never Trust a Tory, and I hope we'll all see you here, same time, same place next week. So it's goodbye from me.
Cheers for listening, folks. See you again. Take care.
I'm going to be loyal as a government to the working miners. The National Coal Board will be loyal to the working miners. I want as a government to give hope to the striking miners.
When I was a young man, my father said to me, son, you be a good man and you keep good company. Never be too busy to stand up for what is right. I never trust the Tory, they are darker than the night. My father was a miner, a proud hard working man. When the union came and told him of the Tory plan, closed down colliery, decimate the town. But of course they denied it, they made Scarborough out to clown. Never trust a Tory, they lie and they deceive. They control the army, banks, media and economy. They'll suck you in, they'll spit you out, they'll leave you high and dry. Then they'll blame it on the unions, the immigrant or the foreign spy. James was a chimney sweep in 1825. James had just turned 7 years old on the day that he died. Then the working man got organised, got the vote and made some change. But they divide us to conquer us, and so they still remain. Never trust a Tory, they lie and they deceive. They control the army, banks, media and economy. They will suck you in, spit you out, leave you high and dry. Then they'll blame it on the unions, the immigrants or the foreign spy. Morag was a Highland lass in 1695. On the night they burnt the croft down, only Morag would survive. They raped her, beat her, chained her up, then sent her out to sea, where she lay in her Hundreds of years of history is there to testify. Leopards cannot change their spots, no matter how they try. So never trust a Tory until